So in this demo, we will cover basically how to create a DevOps, space on the cloud, and the account is free up to 5 users. So you can just navigate to dev.azure.com, and once you are in on that website, so there is option of start free, and which you can sign up here. And once you are signed up, you can just log in with your credentials. So I will just provide my credentials in order to log into DevOps site. So once I'm there, you can see on the left hand side the organization which I have already created, and you can create even more organizations. So then there is option to create a project to get started with. So this project we will just now create in order to work on DevOps for D365 repositories. So we will just give it a suitable name, which can be like D365 development, and the project for Dynamics 365 development. And now you can see the visibility is by default private, and which this private we need now, because we will not be exposing the code publicly. And definitely the when it is public visibility, so certain features will not be available, including tfvc, team foundation version control. So we don't need the public, and we need the private here. Then we can go to the advanced options, and then there are version control feature in which you can select JIT or team foundation version control. So I will select team foundation version control, and then the work item process, which is project management strategy used. So we'll choose agile, although there are other options also available, CMMI, Scrum, or Basic. We'll select agile, and once we are okay with these options, we can just go ahead and create the project. So now you can see there are on the left pane, you can see there are different options like dashboard and wiki. Dashboards are where you can add widgets, and there is a summary of the project overall, how many members are there, and repositories and change set. So an overall overview will be given there, and this is also the overview, and summary looks same. And then there is boards, which is for project management, where you can create various work packages or work items like bug, epic, feature, issue, task, or test case, user story related with any of the bugs, or if you want to work on any of the new feature on D365, the custom feature, then it will be available. So we'll not be covering that. However, we'll go to repository, and in the repository you can see once you click the files on the right hand side, the files section is open now. And although we will not be covering here the connectivity with the LCS, which we need, which we can definitely create using the security. So personal access tokens can be retrieved, and those can be used in the LCS project name, and then it will be definitely connected, but we will not be covering that part here. So that personal token is available only once. Then there are definitely certain steps to connect Azure DevOps with the LCS project. So basically there we need to give URL containing our site .visualstudio.com, and then entering the personal token, and ultimately there are certain steps which will not be covering here. So now once we are in the file, so on the right hand side we can see the new option there. You can create a new file or a new folder. So we'll be creating a new folder. and give it this folder a name like trunk, and just check in to create it. So once it is created with this name, then we can create another folder within the trunk, and this time give it name like main folder. And within main folder we will be creating two sibling folders, one with the name of metadata, and then go back to main, and then just create another one with the name like projects. So now there will be two folder on the level of on the same level within the main subfolder, which is subfolder to trunk. So basically there is a top parent folder is trunk, then there is a child folder main, and then there are two child metadata and project. So basically why we created this this folder structure is needed because now in order to contain the code that is ready for deployment to sandbox. Sandbox is UAT machine, or so basically there is a sandbox from where the release candidate will be marked, and it will be then deployed to production by Microsoft. So based upon previous approaches or past experience in development, in order to have two branches approach is best strategy which fits in most of the scenarios. Basically the concept will be that all development will be done in there will be another branch called dev branch, and within that dev branch all development will be done, and then once it is tested, so it will be merged into the main branch, and then main branch will be deployed to the sandbox, and then it will be selected for the production. So once the code has been moved to production, then the dev branch can be reset from the main branch. So we will create the dev branch from Visual Studio. So what we'll do, just open the Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2017, which is supported right now, but even Visual Studio 2019 can be used, but there are certain bugs which are still not fixed. So it is better to use Visual Studio 2017. And then within Visual Studio 2017, you can see, so just on the right hand side, you can see Team Explorer. In the Team Explorer, there is the manage connection at the top, so you can start with that. And then there are two hosted service providers available. One is Azure Devops, the other one is GitHub. So we'll just select Azure Devops and select the connect option here. And in the add an account, we can add now and log in with our account with which we created DevOps site for our organization. We can just provide the credentials here. So once it is logged in, so it will show the contents of that DevOps site. So there is a dev.azure.com. This is main site. Then there is organization. Within organization, then there is project. So we will connect with the project using the connect button. So now we are just connected, and we are shown with the configure workspace option here. Basically, for each of the dev box, we need to also rename the machine name, so that the machine name should not be the same for all developers. So it is best, and we can follow the renaming of machine name steps, which we need to then also change in SQL Server Reporting Service configuration utility, because that need to be then working, otherwise it will not work when you change the machine name. So what we can now do is basically create a few folders on our root path, that is C, and there we can just create a folder called trunk, and once we are in that folder named trunk, then we can create two branches. Basically, branches are for repositories, different repositories, and you can have multiple repositories at the same time. So the purpose I have already told, that main is for commit to the sandbox, and then sandbox is committed to production, and from production we'll get back and reset the dev branch to the production one, and then we can work on the dev branch. So in this way, two branches is a good idea. And now within main branch we can create projects. Same way we can create the projects in a dev. Now this folder structure is created. Now what we can do is just go to Visual Studio. We can just now click the advanced option. Instead of map and get, we can just go to the advanced option here. So here we need to just create, there is a certain structure which we need to create, and basically that is the project here, and project of DevOps. Then we can just create trunk and /main, and then the local folder which will be mapped here will be which we have created on the C path, trunk, and then main. This mapping will be done in this way, and then on the second row what we can do is just create the main and metadata, and then map it to the AOS service, and then packages local directory. So this is the total mapping. One is main is to main, and then metadata is to the packages local directory. So once it is done, you can just press OK, and it will give you a dialog box, workspace modified. You can just go ahead and click yes. Now you can see on the right hand side there is an option of Source Control Explorer. So that option we can just click and it will open in our workspace. So all the sites which are available will be shown on the left pane, the project, and then there is a folder, and there is main branch, and then there are certain other subfolders here. So also you can see the local path is already mapped. Once I select main, so it is targeting to main, and once I select metadata, it is targeting to packages local directory, and if I select project, so the project is targeting to the projects folder. So now you are on the main folder here. Right click just on the main folder on the left pane, and then you can see multiple options there, and go to the branching and merging option, and there you can select the convert to branch option. So this will convert this main folder on the remote repository or a project. This will be converted to the branch. So just click the convert to branch here, and owner is by default filled in, and just click the convert option, and then you can see the folder icon is changed. So this folder icon is now changed to a different icon which is showing a branch here. Now next what we need to do is to create our dev branch. So what we can do is we can right click on the main branch, and then we can go to the branching and merging option again, and now we need to select the branch option. So there will be a selection for the branch name. It is suggesting main branch here, but we can now change it to dev. So this will be as description suggests branched from the main branch itself. So basically the path is the project name and then trunk. The project name and trunk is a folder, and then the branch name which we are just creating. Just go ahead and click the branch option, continue to branch, and just click yes. So now you can see another branch is created. So that branch is containing the metadata and projects folder. So what we need to do is now we need to change our mapping now, so that it is targeting to our dev branch. So what we can do is we need to click the home button here in the team explorer. We can just click here in the workspace option, and then manage workspace. So within manage workspace we can just edit it. Now we can rename the references here, which are basically main. We need to just replace main with the dev. The folder already we created on the local folder, and the path here also it need to be dev. Once done, we can just click OK and again press yes here. The reason why we are having two folders, that our project basically are not containing the files which we create when writing the code. When we create a file such as a new class, it is created within the local packages folder and then a reference within the project. So this also means that we can't just zip up a project and email it to a coworker. This is done by connecting to the same Azure Devops project or using project export feature. Once we are done, we can just close it. Now we can just go ahead to our DevOps site, and we can see what changes are done there, and we can just refresh our browser. Now you can see there are two branches, the dev branch and the main branch, with project folder which is empty, metadata empty, and this one all the folders are empty now. So this is right now the contents after we have configured it within Visual Studio, and on certain things we have done on Azure DevOps side. So this is the current state. So we will just test the settings and perform few changes, and before that we just need to go ahead to Visual Studio, and in the Visual Studio we need to also create with the model, and model is basically within there is a package, and then there is a model, multiple models within a package, and then can be multiple solutions or projects within a model. So model is basically a container, so we will just go ahead with the creation of a model. Whenever we start with any of the projects, so it is better to create a new model, and that model will contain that project, and then definitely once you are done with that one, and then you can check into the DevOps project. So now we can give a name to the model, and it depends upon your preferences. It can be a project name as well. So I will just keep it as PKR model, and then the publisher name need to be given here. And then the layer on which you are working, definitely it will be user layer, because we will be working on extensions normally. So we will not be working on ISV, independent solution vendor, or any of the other layer. We will be working user layer. So basically this is for extensions. So model description can be given if you have further details about the project, that can also be given, and model display name is available. You can just click next, and then it will allow to create a new package until it is overlayering, when you can select an existing package, because we are not working on overlayering, only extensions, and it is no more supported as well, overlayering. So it will just create a new package, and then we can select any of applicable packages if we are working on the artifacts which are located in those packages or contained in those packages. We'll just uh, here create a new package here, a new project here. We'll not be creating a new project from here, but make this my default model for new project. Just go ahead and finish the dialog. So now what we can do within the team explorer, you can see the new option is available here. So we'll just click the new option, so the dialog for project will be shown, and then we can just the location is very important here. We just need to select the location of our trunk, dev and projects. Whenever we create the project, new projects for our source control as a DevOps, so that need to be a dev and projects. So then I will just create a test project. So you can see now on the solution explorer that this project is now created here. So, and within the project we can create a runnable class. Just runnable class is now the replacement for the jobs previously in AX 2012. So just go ahead with the add option, and just go to the new item, and code and runnable class, give it a name. So once I am within the class, just give any of just a test line to show. I can make this class as a startup object, so that if I run it, it will show me. So now within the I will just start to show you the output. So now we can see the project once it is running the runnable class. So we can see the output here, which is test. So the class is successfully running. We'll just close it, and then what we can do is right click on the solution, and just go ahead with the check-in process here, and so we'll just check in this one, and this will be version 1, and then the changes which are included are listed at the bottom, and this is basically the class in XML and project and solution file, which will be just logged in. So just go ahead and check in the objects. Once you are checking the objects, so these objects will be check into our website, that is DevOps site. So basically you can see it. You can see now the model is there, and within the project there is a project which is containing solution and the project itself. So the model is also containing the the artifacts, that is XML file, that is in the metadata folder, and the project itself, the solution and the project is in the project folder. So as soon as we have checked in our changes, so those are committed to the dev branch. So now we'll again go back, and now what we can do is change a little bit, like for example test version 2. So once we have done a small change to our class, what we can do is just go to the solution explorer, and you can see now it is already checked out to me. So now what I can do is again check in, make it version 2, and just press the check in button. So now version 2 is committed. So what is version 2? Version 2 is the information message with test version 2. So what we can do is within the solution explorer, you can just right click and go to the source control, and you can see the history of all the check-ins. And here you can see the change set number 27. It contains basically, it is showing me the path on which it has committed the changes, and that in the command the versions are maintained, or any of the commands like what changes you are performing on certain objects, so those can be captured in command itself. So from here what we can do is, for example, just right click on this row, and then you can do is get this version. So it will what it will do, it will replace the local file to the previous version 1. You can see now the file is now changed, the message is changed to our version 1 message. So if we want again to go to version 2, so that is also possible, and go to the history and get this version. Once you have done this, output window is showing the replacement message, which is for XML file containing our class. So now you can go and check the next version, or whatever version we are selecting, it is replaced now. So in this way we have configured the DevOps, and DevOps is now working from our Visual Studio, and there are certain steps which are in order to connect to LCS project, and those of course I have not covered here due to confidentiality of any of the organization, and the only steps which I have covered here is Visual Studio with our DevOps cloud side, and now it is totally configured, and there are two branches basically which we have covered here. There is one main branch, and there is a dev branch. Basically the intention here is basically in order to uh, create a strategy when main branch is basically when it is reversed or taken from the production, and the development branch is for development of various projects or artifacts or reports. Then the development branch will be committed to the main branch because it is already containing the main branch. So in this way, and then there are if you can go to the team explorer, so you can see the source control explorer which we have seen. Basically it is a reflection of just like FTP explorer, it is just showing us the folders on the left hand side, the remote folder, and how those remote folders, what those remote folders are basically containing, it is showed locally within the Visual Studio. So that can also be seen directly from DevOps site from browser, but this is an integrated tool here, and it is showing us various files and folders. So this is it. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have any feedback, just let me know. And now I will cover definitely. There are certain requests from various subscribers of my channel, and I will definitely cover those as well, the technical aspects or the basic programming skills in D365, and there are certain requests for the forms development, and definitely I will cover those in my next training videos. Actually I am covering now, there are multiple areas which I need to cover, and based upon weekly commitments I will definitely try to cover those all requests, or the people who have asked me to do certain videos. I will definitely cover those in future. Thank you very much guys, take care.